Hari Om and welcome to all the divine Atmajyotis to today's Bhagavadgita satsang. Let us continue our contemplation based on the fifth chapter, Karma Sanyasa Yoga, and based on Sri Prabhuji's talks, Purna Darshana Yoga talks. So to begin with, Shilpaji, you have a question on 5.22 that we chanted just now. Can you please repeat the question?
Yeah. Human body is manifested with all these senses, and we are born with senses, and we get pleasure. For example, we hug our baby, we kiss our baby. So it is through senses that pleasure we are getting. But why it is considered as a source of misery? And in first place, why we are even given senses in that case if it is leading to misery?
Sure. So Sri Krishna is not saying that sense is misery. Sri Krishna is saying that when you do not understand that the pleasure from the senses is a fleeting or a temporary, that is what causes misery. So that is why if you see here, what is he pointing at? He is pointing at the fact that, let's take a simple example, chocolate. So the pleasure is I keep the chocolate in the mouth, I eat the chocolate, I let it go. So it is a transient, that is something that comes and goes. That is the first thing that he wants us to notice. That the pleasure from any of the senses, it may be hearing pleasure. I'm listening to wonderful song by M.S. Subbulakshmi. Oh, such a divine voice. What a divine rendition. So wonderful, nothing wrong with it. But what he wants us to recognize is that, remember, anything that you are enjoying through your senses, first it has a beginning, next it has an end. So the source of misery is first and foremost getting attached to the understanding that the source of the pleasure or the enjoyment that I am having is because of my senses. That's what happens. Oh, I have to listen only these kinds of songs. Oh, I have to eat only these kinds of foods. Oh, I have to be only with these kinds of people, my children. I have to keep hugging. So, like that, the mind gets into an illusion out of incorrect understanding that this is the source of happiness, this is the source of pleasure. So therefore, first is he's pointing to that this is a transient phenomena. Recognize that whatever you are calling as pleasure through the senses is transient, comes and goes. Second thing, that through that, then we need to ask the question, is truly that particular object the source of the pleasure? Is chocolate actually what is causing pleasure in me? So when you notice that particular phenomena, let's assume there's a craving that has arisen, that has begun in the mind. Oh, I have to have this chocolate. So the craving, the feeling, the desire that I need to have a chocolate. Right now, I haven't had a chocolate. So I am not good. Everybody seems to be enjoying chocolate. I see an advertisement, somebody is eating a chocolate. I also feel the craving. Oh, then only pleasure. Because that is what the chocolate advertisement shows. They take a chocolate and then they eat, and then you see some joyful, jumping people. So I have to have it. So now the thought has begun. When the thought has begun in the mind, my attention is on that thought. And what is the thought doing? The thought is telling me that right now I am not in pleasure. Right now I am not happy. Why? Because I need something. So I don't have it. Now that thought process has begun in the mind. So now, therefore, the seeking continues. Oh, I need to get a chocolate. I go and get a chocolate. And now, as I hold the chocolate and as I'm about to put it into my mouth, notice what is the thought in the mind. Now the mind has become silent. No more the thought that I do not have something, I lack something. What is that I lacked moments back? chocolate. Now, with the chocolate in my hand and about to put it in my mouth, what is it I have? I have chocolate. So, I have something that is not with me. I lack something. That thinking goes away. So, when that thinking goes away, then when I eat the chocolate, I naturally feel my own nature. My own nature is that of pure bliss, because it is not the chocolate. If it was the chocolate, then first chocolate, second chocolate, third chocolate, like that, the fifth chocolate also should have given me the same pleasure. But it is not the case. After the first chocolate, second chocolate, you already are enough, Papa. How many chocolates do I want to eat? Or, if you have a disease such as sugar complaint, then chocolate is even prohibited. So that cannot be then called as the source of the happiness. So, therefore, by pointing to these two things, Sri Krishna is saying, first, recognize if you are attached to pleasure from senses, it is transient, it is fleeting, it comes and goes. Second, examine the very source of pleasure. The very source of pleasure is you, not your senses, not your body. Though it appears as if it is the body that is giving the pleasure, it is actually your innate nature is that of pleasure. That brings us to the final question that you asked, which is then why at all it is there? It is like asking why at all a painter paints a painting. A painter paints a painting because he can paint. That is his nature. That is his very delightful nature. Why does a cuckoo bird sing? Cuckoo bird sings because that's his very nature. It doesn't really sing because it wants people to come and clap for it. Like that, creativity is your very innate nature. Please notice, life is full of creation. Every moment is different from the other moment. So, in one sense, if every moment is taken as a picture, if I and you were to take a camera and tuck, click, 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 how many moments we have to click? Because every moment there is something unique. Especially if you start doing photography, you'll start noticing every moment there is something unique that you can identify. So, like that, creativity is your inherent nature, is the very uh, feeling with which you function when you are given this instrument. A little child is inherently creative. You are inherently creative. As one starts growing up, that inherent creativity is lost. That inherent creativity is masked by something else, seeking some pleasure from outside. So, like that, these are the three things that Krishna wants us to recognize here.
Thanks, Vijayji.
Any other follow-up questions? Is there anything else that anybody else wants to add to what has been discussed so far?
Vijayji, here I would like to mention a story which Guruji used to tell in some talks. So, story of a fish and a fisherman. So, it is how Guruji taught us to differentiate between wise people, that is Jivan Muktas, Sadhakas, and common people who are sufferers. Okay, so the wise fishers, like Paramahamsas, Avatara Purushas, they know that it is everything is a Maya. So they come to this world, they use their senses, and they lead as a normal life, like how we if we study the history of Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa and Ramana Maharshi, so they live a normal life. They don't get caught in this Maya of the net, fisherman's net. So they know that how they say they don't get caught. The sadhakas, they come near the net, and they jump out of the net, or they wisely escape. So they are still learning. And the common people like samsaris, they are very comfortable. They don't find any difference coming out of the net. They think inside the net only I am okay. What is there? Um, I'll enjoy this, Anta. They will be inside the net, inside the Maya, inside the samsara. And after some time, the fisherman will take all the common people, that is those fishes, and he will cook, and he will um, that's what happens to common people. That is how that suffering happens. So this is how Guruji used to give the example. So you want to be which kind of fish? Whether you want to get caught in the net, or um, whether you want to enjoy in the net, or like that. Whether you want to jump out of the net by listening to satsang, by listening to Vedanta, Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasa. So like that. So this was a very interesting, nice story. I was able to connect it very quickly. So I thought I'll share.
Very nice. Wonderful. Any other viewpoints anybody wants to share?
I'm just trying to reflect. So uh, we have these senses, we have the surroundings, we have the family, but the ultimate thing is you try to act as if you came here as an actor. um, you participate but don't get attached, and actual joy, actual mukti is coming from within. So don't even leave your family. I mean, because there are different ways how we can attain this, right? So being part of the family and attain this kind of mukti, or get out of the family and attain the mukti. So but the ultimate guidance is wherever you are, whether you move out or whether you are with the people surrounding, with your family, friends, everybody. So try to be in that state, because the ultimate mukti is coming from within. So is my summarization, is my understanding right?
Excellent. Correct. By sannyasa, one of the interpretation is the social viewpoint of the sannyasa. The wearing the dress, uh, getting away from certain kinds of activities, living in certain places, following certain rituals and practices. That is the social viewpoint of sannyasa. Again, depending upon who is indulging in it and who is involved in it, it is a very sacred part of the society. The sannyasatva of Shankaracharya has brought out such wonderful revival of the Sanatana Dharma. Like that, when the sannyasatva is by a awakened mind, it has a different quality to it. So that is the one aspect of sannyasa. That is the societal viewpoint of sannyasa, because society looks at sannyasa as wearing a certain dress, following certain rituals, doing certain kinds of activities and not doing certain kinds of activities. They are not seen to be living with their so-called family members. Now, what Sri Krishna is teaching as what is the true meaning of sannyasa? What is sannyasa? The true meaning of sannyasa. Samyak nyasaha iti sannyasaha. Samyak nyasaha. Right deposit of the mind is sannyasa. The mind is, imagine it's like a container containing water. This water can be in any of the different containers, or if you see it as wealth, you can deposit in different banks. Depending upon which bank or which container that you pour it in, that kind of a multiplication can happen. So the mind, same mind, and the energies of the mind and the whole life process can be deposited towards gaining something from the world, getting something from the world, wanting something from the world. Why does one, um, as an example, why does one get into job? Because I want money. Why do I want money? So that I can gain certain objects of pleasure. Money brings me house, car, and then okay, through that I can get married, husband, wife, children. Why all that process has started? Because through that process I am seeking what I call as pleasure from the life, pleasure from the world of objects. So, therefore, what you said is correct. The true sannyasatva is recognizing that this is not the source of joy. My very nature, not even this, but my very nature, who I truly am, that is the very source of joy. So, therefore, when one recognizes that, it does not matter what one indulges in. Depending upon the need, one can very comfortably function in a role. As an example, Janaka Maharaja is said to be a Rajarshi. Or when you look at the life of our Modi ji, a Rajarshi, though he is in such a big position, his work is not for selfish gains. And he has changed the course of history as far as Bharata is concerned. So, like that, what is the role one functions? Vivekananda, he also is a true sannyasi. He functioned in a different way. Ramana Maharshi functioned in a different way. Prabhuji is functioning in a different way. So each is a awakened and enlightened way of living. But what is more important to notice is all of them were perfectly okay with whatever situations they were or they are in. There is no need to run away from the situation. There is no need to escape to somewhere else. How can I escape my own mind? I cannot. So, though I may run away from this place to another place and say that place is more calmer, if this is not calm, that place will also turn out to be eventually like how I feel in this place. So, that is the true essence of sannyasa, right deposit of the mind. So, when I realize the truth and I deposit my mind towards being a sakshi to the happenings and at the same time being fully involved. That is what role play really means. Krishna Leela. Krishna Leela means he's fully involved in the role. He's not doing a half-hearted job, though he fully knows this role is going to end, and whatever that is coming out of that, sometimes insult comes, sometimes praise comes. Both will come and go. He knows that. So, but still he is fully 100% involved in it. And that 100% involvement is the very nature of you. There is a little child is fully involved, not for gaining anything, just for the very activity itself, the very moment itself. This very moment itself is all that is. This very moment, how involved are you? And at the same time, how completely detached are you? Is the true essence of sannyasa.
Thanks, Vijayji. The meaning of sannyasa, I didn't know. I was always thinking sannyasa means renounce everything and leave, but I got a different dimension of understanding now. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Any other perspectives anybody wants to share around the topics that we have just now discussed? Great. So then let's resume on 5.14. So today's now the next shloka for contemplation we can pick is 5.14. In 5.14, Sri Krishna has said, neither the sense of doership nor the nature of actions comes from God, nor does He create the fruits of actions. So, doership, action, fruits of action, none of them are from the divine. This is enacted by the modes of material nature, gunas. So, is what Sri Krishna is pointing at. Based on that, we have framed some questions in our last session. So, these are the questions that you can see for 5.14. So, we keep saying God is omnipresent everywhere, in everything. Then how gunas are not a gift from God? It seems, in a way, connecting to what Shilpaji just now said, it is these, various body parts and various kinds of uh, mindsets. That is what is propelling one to act. How is this not then from God? Right? So, what is the distinction that Krishna is drawing here? Then who is really enacting? So, who is this God? How can I overcome the sense of doership? So, maybe we can first begin with the very first question. When we say God is omnipresent, then how come gunas are not part of, are a gift from God? So, we can begin our contemplation there. Shilpaji, would you like to begin based on what you've felt so far?
Yeah. So the question talks about God is everywhere, within me, outside of me, within every being. Um, but the gunas, but gunas means the reactions or the abilities of our senses is called guna. Is it?
No. Okay, so you can look at guna as quality. So the English word may not give the complete understanding, but Sanskrit has wonderful words, guna and swabhava. Okay, so what is guna? Guna is dependent quality, because in English, if we have to say it is dependent quality, swabhava is intrinsic quality. Example is fire. What is one of the intrinsic quality of fire? When you touch fire, it burns. So there is a burning quality in fire that is intrinsic to it. It is not dependent on anything else. That is by itself. That is the nature of fire. That's what you say. Fire means it burns. That's the intrinsic nature. Then there is a dependent nature that is only observable uh, through the fire. As an example, when the fire is burning, in some places, depending upon the object that is involved, the fire color may be blue or fire color may be yellow. Like that, the color is also a quality of the fire, blue or yellow, but that is dependent. When you have to observe it, oh, I can observe the blue flame only when, let's say for example, the gas in the gas stove at home, LPG gas stove, oh, there the flame is, yeah, blue. Whereas if, let's say, I am burning some wood, there I can notice yellow flame. Oh, color is there as a guna, as a property, as a quality of that fire. But this property is dependent property, depends on what material on which it is burning. So, like that, swabhava and guna. Guna is all these observables, which in a way can also be said as they are dependent on something.
Okay, understood.
Yeah.
So from this question, what I mean, that question talks about, for example, based on a situation, I react maybe in a polite way, or I react in a very agitated way. So the because God is everywhere, our manifestation itself is from God, or we ourselves are considered to be God. Um, why not these gunas are also provided by God? I mean, why we have to think that that is something which we are uh, uh, okay, I am not able to frame it, but in a simple words, I feel whatever the exhibited qualities or the dependent qualities we are exhibiting, why we should not consider them also that they are gifted by God?
Hmm. So are you raising a question, or are you
I
using
am
it as-
interpreting the question in
okay,
that way.
okay. So you are saying, why are you okay? What Krishna is saying here is, Krishna is saying that they don't come from God. That's what he's saying. You are saying say it in a way that it is also part of God, is what you are saying.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, very good. So, what is the difference in the way what Krishna is saying, or at least the way, because these shlokas can be written, the meanings can be written in multiple ways. So, in the way the meaning has been written, it is they don't come, meaning as if there is no connection, right, to God and these the qualities, right, the doer shape, the actions, the fruits of actions. So that is one viewpoint. The viewpoint that you are saying is it is also God only. Doership is God, action is God, fruits of action is God. So everything is God only, is what you are saying.
Yes.
Yeah. What's the difference between these two viewpoints?
The viewpoint which the shloka is actually saying is, neither the whatever we are doing or the actions which we are exhibiting is not coming from God. It is saying it is not coming from God. But what I am saying is, why should not we consider that is also a result of our actions? Why we should not say that that is coming from God? So there is a complete difference of understanding of the point
Correct.
viewpoints.
Correct. So, what is the outcome of, let's say, the way the meaning written here? What is the outcome of the way the meaning written here versus the way the meaning you are giving? Is there a difference in both these, in the outcome, when you interpret it this way versus this way?
um, Maybe somewhere I'm seeing it is getting united in a way that this is as this is enacted by the modes of material sciences, and h- how we how we react, how we have to act that situations, we should also try to get that internal understanding of how we react, that ultimately leads to the point which this shloka is explaining. So the result is somewhere I'm feeling it is getting united in a
Hmm.
way that um, uh, because the inaction is also result of your very nature, or I don't know, I'm not finding the right words, but that result is created by your way how you are reacting at that point also becomes mature when you try to understand the internal meaning to it. Who is doing it? Is it the material things which is creating it? If I understand that very nature, that also will become um, good, and ultimately I feel both are leading to the same conclusion.
Hmm. Okay, very nice. Let's see what the other viewpoints are and then see how we can reconcile. I don't think there's anything opposing, but in the initial view, it feels opposing. One is detachment, another one is complete acceptance. So at least the initial viewpoint seems to be there is a contradiction between these two ways of looking at it. But what you are also feeling is that the outcome seems to be similar. So in that sense, the end result of either of this viewpoint or this viewpoint seems to be the same. But is there something that we need to reconcile here? So let's see what others are saying. So Anisha ji, how do you see this?
Mm,
So the question is, gunas, how gunas are not a gift from God?
mm, yeah. So if I speak about a situation, if I am getting angry at something, like if something happens, like if I get angry on something, then at that moment I just shout out, I blabber anything. I speak without thinking whether it will affect the front person. Just I shout anything, but later I understand that I in my situation I forget why I was actually angry. So this is the inner realization that tells me that that was not you. It was just the uh, action. Sorry, the gunas the that made you do this. So that is what I wanted to say.
Okay, very good. So what you are saying is, in a situation when I would get angry, that whole reaction is because of the gunas. Wonderful, correct.
Yes.
Now the question is, here Sri Krishna is saying that uh, whether the doership or the action or the fruits of the action. Yeah. So I am shouting, and the other person got upset because of my shouting. So that is the uh, doing, which is shouting, and the result is the other person got upset. I also may feel later upset, but that is a fruit of action, right? In the example
Mm,
that you took. And what
yes.
Shri Krishna is saying is none of this comes from God. All of this is by the gunas.
Yes.
But the question that we are raising is, hey, we keep saying that God is omnipresent. God is everywhere, in everything. So even this shouting, God must be there. Even this feeling of unpleasantness that is there in the other person, God must be there. Even in that feeling of guilt, I may feel God must be there. So how come? And what is the guna? Guna. It's not that I sat and made the gunas. Gunas are there. So so then how come it is not a gift from God?
Mm, I don't have an answer for it currently.
Is the question clear?
Yes, yes.
Does
Yes, sir.
the does is it a valid question first of all?
Yes, sir. That's a valid question.
Okay, all right. So you're looking at how do you reconcile this?
Mm,
Okay, all right. So let's see what you heard Shilpa ji. So what Shilpa ji is saying, she resolved it by saying that why are you trying to disassociate it from God? Whatever the idea of the God is, consider it also as part of God. It is God. So then no more you have the question. You question is only when they are separate. Now you say, okay, this is also God, so there is no more a worry. That is how Shilpaji resolved. Whereas you are not able to yet say, okay, which way you want to resolve. So
God,
if you have to resolve, how will you resolve this question?
God is just He is the divine presence within ourselves. He is just a witness of all our actions, right?
Mhm.
He is not responsible for whatever the body or the mind and the intellect together is performing. It I no sir, I don't know, maybe.
No, okay. Now continue, please. So he's a witness. Then who is the doer?
Maybe I listen to a good side. Don't know.
Okay, wonderful. Very nice. Rajita ji, what is your viewpoint?
Vijayji, can you again repeat the question? Sorry.
No problem. The question is here, when you
Hmm.
look at the meaning of the shloka,
Hmm.
what is the pointer? Neither the doership
Ah,
nor the action or even the fruits of the action, all the three, right? Uh,
yeah.
so none of them are by God.
Okay.
This is enacted by the Gunas, is what the shloka is saying.
Yes.
So therefore, the question that we are raising is
Hmm.
also say God is omnipresent,
Hmm.
Ishvara Sarvavapi. Okay.
Hmm.
So omnipresent, meaning must be present in everything,
Yes.
including that action that was performed, including
Hmm.
the fruit that is appearing as the fruit.
Correct.
Then how come there is this separation that Gita is saying?
So here, God, the meaning of God should be clear actually. Like GOD, generation, operation, and destruction. So this generation, operation, and destruction are in the three levels. Um, Daihika, Manasika, and Bhaudika. So or we can call it as Adhyatmika, Adi Daivika, Adi Bhautika. So the if we can define that clearly. So in Dvaita, we think that God is separate from me. So because from my childhood, I'll just take my example only. My grandmother used to tell me, get up in the early morning, take bath, and you have to worship God, because you will get lot of punya by doing that. You will get good health. um, so she was telling me, you will get that, you will get this. So all that was a motivation for me to get up early, and that was a motivation for me to change my nature from the laziness tamoguna to rajoguna, because our ancestors, they believed that the tamoguna, without that is inaction, tamoguna inaction will not lead to the successful life in the society. So she was asking me to do all those things so that I come to rajoguna, and then gradually to satvaguna. Satvaguna, in Satvaguna, we become very closer to God, in the sense, um, the qualities of the God. If you imagine any God and the qualities of the God, um, so that is Rama, Dharma, and Pitruvakya Paripalana. So all that leads to the eternal peace, absolute peace. Just with one quality, if you just follow the one quality, Satya, ahimsa, asteya, aparigraha. Just with one good quality of sattva guna will lead you to the ultimate absolute truth. And you can realize that your true nature, Sat Chit Ananda. So that itself is attaining liberation. So when you are alive, you will attain, you will feel liberated, Jivan Mukti. If you you will become free from the samsara, that is a cycle of birth and death. So that was the highest teaching that our ancestors knew. So they were forcing they were forcing us to follow these what do you call the nature modes of nature, like you have to you cannot remain as a lazy person, you have to so they were externally, though it was our inbuilt yeah, what do you call inbuilt qualities, manufacture defects or whatever you can call. But through abhyasa, they believed that you can change the modes of nature. So through constant love, devotion, through that faith, trust, they believed that it is possible to evolve ourselves and attain mukti. And they knew that that was the highest um, highest state or state of mind that we can attain as a human beings, because none of the other animals or any other living beings has this opportunity. So the modes of the material nature will help us to attain that the highest truth. Am I diverting from the topic or am I answering?
Yeah, what you explained is correct. The question, however, is then how Krishna is here saying all this is enacted by the modes of nature, correct? Which is what you just now explained.
Yes.
But none of this is from God. See, neither the sense of doership, nor the nature of actions, nor does he create the fruits of action. So he is not responsible for any of this. But all of this is there. Then that
Yeah.
is why the question is, how gunas are not a gift from God? Because ultimately you're saying that, one acts because of the gunas, because of the nature.
Yes, yes.
Right.
Yes.
How that is not gift from God?
Actually, the wise person will realize that I am responsible for whatever guna is predominant in me. The wise person will not blame the God or some other guru or some other person for his own gunas or his own behavior, his own emotions or his own patterns. So the wise person takes the responsibility and he understands that because of his past actions, his subconscious programming has done in such a way that he will be born. If he is having next janma, he will be born into a family which will again support his actions, his thoughts, and which will um, give an option to evolve. So, God, somewhere sitting in the heaven, is not responsible. We are responsible for all the actions or for all the fruits that we are reaping today. We may have done some good karma, whether consciously or unconsciously or um, with some force, we may have done some good karma. So first we have to, a wise person realizes that it is not God, it is I who can change my nature, who can so that intellect, here I am referring to the intellect. So that intellect will be very sharp for a wise person. He will have a viveka, so he can discriminate between what is good and what is bad, and what is punya and what is papa. So by doing what actions, he will be born into a better family, or he will attain moksha. So those are the goals for a for us to perform any kind of actions. So that was a motivation. That will be the motivation for any common person to perform any actions. So the wise person know that the fruits of actions are also his, because of his own decisions, his own intellect will be guiding him, whether his own viveka, whether to do this action or this action, whether to attend Bhagavad-gita class or whether to sleep, continue sleeping and dreaming whatever we want. So it is our responsibility. It is my intellect. And here I don't agree that God sitting somewhere is responsible. Individual jiva has to take the responsibility. He has to become aware of his true nature. But this awareness doesn't come easily. It comes with some past, with some seva activities that we perform, or some good actions, some good karmas that we have done in previous life or in this life. So that is how I view the life, Vijayji. So God is not somewhere. God is the creator, the preserver and destroyer. Is everything is within us. And that modes of nature also we can tune, we can that's what, if we are if we have clarity of the goal that we want to achieve in this human birth, then the process will be easy. We will not blame anyone. We will not blame God, or the understanding of that God definition has to be clear. Then we will take the responsibility. I will take the responsibility.
I will take. Okay. So that's how your current viewpoint is. All
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Thank you, Rajitaji. Padma amma, ನಿಮ್ಮ ಅನಿಸಿಕೆ ಏನು?
ಗಾಡ್ ಇಸ್ ಆಮ್ನಿಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಪರಬ್ರಹ್ಮನ್, ಪರಮಾತ್ಮ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಗಾಡ್ ಅಂತ. ಇದು ಎಲ್ಲ ಕಡೆನೂ ಇರೋದು, ಸರ್ವವ್ಯಾಪಿಯಾಗಿರೋಂಥದ್ದು, ನಿರ್ಗುಣ ನಿರಾಕಾರ, ಅದು ಪರಬ್ರಹ್ಮನ್. ಈ ಗುಣಗಳು ಹೇಗೆ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, ಯಾವಾಗ ಸೃಷ್ಟಿ ಅನ್ನೋದಾಗುತ್ತೋ ಆಗ ಗುಣಗಳ ಬರುವಂತಹದ್ದು. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಪರಬ್ರಹ್ಮನಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವ ಗುಣಗಳು ಇಲ್ಲ, ಪರಬ್ರಹ್ಮ ನಿರ್ಗುಣ. ಹೇಗೆಂದ್ರೆ, ಉದಾಹರಣೆಗೆ ಈ ಮಣ್ಣು ಮತ್ತೆ ಮಡಕೆ ತೆಗೆದುಕೊಳ್ಳೋದು. ಮಣ್ಣಿನಿಂದಲೇ ಮಾಡಲ್ಪಟ್ಟಿರುವಂತಹದ್ದು ಮಡಕೆ. ಆದರೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಗುಣ, ಆಕಾರ ಮತ್ತೆ ಆ ಒಂದು ಸೀಮಿತತೆ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಬರೋದು ಎಲ್ಲನೂ ಆ ಮಡಕೆ, ಆ ಕಾರ್ಯ ಅನ್ನೋದು, ಆ ಸೃಷ್ಟಿ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಆದಾಗ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಗುಣಗಳು ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಹಾಗೇನೆ ಇನ್ನೂ ಒಂದು ಉದಾಹರಣೆಯನ್ನು ತೆಗೆದುಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ, ಈಗ ಸಮುದ್ರದಲ್ಲಿ ನೀರಿದೆ. ನೀರು ತನ್ನ ಪಾಡಿಗೆ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಅದು ಅಲೆಯಾದಾಗ, ನೊರೆ ಆದಾಗ, ಗುಳ್ಳೆ ಆದಾಗ ಈ ಅಲೆಯೇ ಬೇರೆ ಗುಣವನ್ನು ಪಡೆದುಕೊಳ್ಳುತ್ತೆ. ಈ ನೊರೆಯ ಬೇರೆ, ಗುಳ್ಳೆನೇ ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಗುಣಗಳನ್ನು ಪಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳುತ್ತೆ. ಅದು ನೀರಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಆ ಗುಣಗಳೇನು ಇರಲ್ಲ. ಅದು ಹಾಗೆ ಈ ಪರಬ್ರಹ್ಮನಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವ ಒಂದು ಗುಣಗಳು ಇಲ್ಲ. ಆದರೆ ಉಪಾಧಿಗಳಾದ ಈ ದೇಹ, ಮನಸ್ಸು, ಬುದ್ಧಿಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಗುಣಗಳು ಕಾಣಿಸ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದು. ನಾನು ದೇಹ ಅಂತ ಆದಾಗ, ನಾನು ದೇಹ ಇವತ್ತು ಇದೆ, ನಾಳೆ ಮುದುಕಿ ಆಗೋದೆ, ನಾನು ಈಗ ಮುದುಕಿ ಆಗೋಗಿದ್ದೀನಿ, ನಾಳೆ ಸತ್ತು ಹೋಗ್ತೀನಿ ಅಂತ ಅದನ್ನು ಕಾಪಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾನು ಏನೇನು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ. ಹಾಗೂ ಮಾನಸಿಕವಾಗಿಯೂ ಅಷ್ಟೇ. ನನಗೆ ಅವರಿಂದ ಹಾಗಾಯ್ತು, ಇವರಿಂದ ಹೀಗಾಯ್ತು ಅಂತಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ನನ್ನ ಮನಸ್ಸಿನ ಸ್ಥಿತಿಗೆ ಆ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ನಡೆಯುತ್ತೆ. ಸರ್ವವನ್ನು ಬೆಳಗುವುದು ಮಾತ್ರ ಅರಿವು, ಅದು ಪರಬ್ರಹ್ಮ, ಅದು ನಾನು ಅಂತ ಯಾವಾಗ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಳ್ತೀನೋ, ಇದು ಉಪಾಧಿಗಳು ಅಂತ ಯಾವಾಗ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಳ್ತೀನೋ, ಆಗ ನನಗೆ ಈ ನೋವು ಸಂಕಟ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಎಲ್ಲವೂ ದೂರ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ನಾನು ನೆಮ್ಮದಿಯಾಗಿ ಜೀವನವನ್ನು ನಡೆಸೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯವಾಗತ್ತೆ.
ಇದು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಅನಿಸಿಕೆ. ಒಂದು ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಈಗ ನೀವು ನೀರು ಮತ್ತು ಅಲೆಯ ಉದಾಹರಣೆ ಕೊಟ್ರಿ, ಅಥವಾ ನೀರು ಮತ್ತು ಗುಳ್ಳೆಯ ಉದಾಹರಣೆ ಕೊಟ್ರಿ. ಗುಳ್ಳೆನಲ್ಲಿ ಕಾಣಿಸೋ ಗುಣ ವಿಶೇಷಣಗಳು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ನೀರಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಕಾಣಿಸಲ್ಲ ಅಲ್ವಾ?
ಕಾಣಿಸಲ್ಲ. ಈ ಗುಳ್ಳೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಂದ್ರೆ, ಇವಾಗ ಈ ಅಲೆ ಬಂತು ನನ್ನ ಅಪ್ಪಳಿಸ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ, ನಾನು ಇವಾಗ ಒಡೆದೋಗ್ತೀನಿ ಅಂತ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಭಯ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇರುತ್ತೆ.
ಇರ್ಲಿ
ಈ
ಇರ್ಲಿ,
ದೊಡ್ಡ
ಆದ್ರೆ ನನ್ನ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ ಅದಲ್ಲ. ನನ್ನ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ ಏನಂದ್ರೆ, ಆ ಗುಳ್ಳೆ ಗುಳ್ಳೆ ತರ ಕಾಣಿಸ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಏನೋ ಒಂದಷ್ಟು ಗುಣಗಳಿರ್ಬೇಕು ಅಲ್ವಾ? ಅಥವಾ ಆ ನೀರು ಅಲೆ ತರ ಕಾಣಿಸ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನೋ ಒಂದಷ್ಟು ಗುಣಗಳಿರ್ಬೇಕು ಅಲ್ವಾ? ಅದು ಹೇಗೆ ನೀರಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಕ್ಕಾಗತ್ತೆ?
ಹಾ ಅದು ನೀರು ಅನ್ನೋದು ಅಧಿಷ್ಠಾನ, ಅದರ ಮೇಲೆ ಆಗುವಂತಹದ್ದು. ಇದು ಎಲ್ಲ ಮಿಥ್ಯವಾದಂತಹದ್ದು, ಅದು ಸತ್ಯ ಅಲ್ಲ. ಇವಾಗ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ಅದು ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ, ಅದು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಕಾಲ ಕಾಣಿಸ್ಕೊಳ್ಳುತ್ತೆ, ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅದು ಹೇಗೆ
ಅದೂ ನೀರ್ದೇನೆ ಗುಣ ತಾನೆ?
ನೀರೇ, ಅದು ನೀರೇನೆ. ಆದರೆ ಯಾವಾಗ ಸೃಷ್ಟಿ ಆಗುತ್ತೋ ಆಗ ಕಾಣಿಸುತ್ತೆ. ಹೇಗೆ ಹಗ್ಗ ಅಧಿಷ್ಠಾನವಾಗಿರುತ್ತೆ, ಹಾವು ಅದರ ಮೇಲೆ ಕಾಣಿಸ್ಕೊಳ್ಳುತ್ತೋ ಆ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ಪ್ರಕೃತಿ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಎಲ್ಲ ಕಾಣಿಸ್ಕೊಂಡು ನಮಗೆ ನಾವು ಅದೇ ನಿಜ ಅಂತಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಅಂದ್ಕೊಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಅಜ್ಞಾನ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಅಧ್ಯಾಸವಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ನಾನು ದೇಹನೇ ನಾನು ಅಂತ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಳ್ತೀನಿ, ಮನಸ್ಸೇ ನಾನು ಅಂತ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಳ್ತೀನಿ. ಅದು ನಿಜವಾಗ್ಲೂ ನಾನು ಪರಬ್ರಹ್ಮನ್ ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ ಮರ್ತಿರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಆ ಅರಿವು ಯಾವಾಗ ಬರುತ್ತೋ ಆವಾಗ ಆ ಒಂದು ಅಜ್ಞಾನ ಹೊರಟೋಗುತ್ತೆ. ಈ ಪ್ರಕೃತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ನಡೆಯೋದು ಹೀಗೇನೆ. ಅದು ಸಹಜವಾಗಿ ಪ್ರಕೃತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಏನೇನು ನಡೆಯುತ್ತೆ ಅದು ನಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಅನುಗುಣವಾಗಿ ನನ್ನ ದೇಹನೂ ಇವತ್ತಿರುತ್ತೆ, ನಾಳೆ ಇರಲ್ಲ ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನು ತಿಳ್ಕೊಳ್ಬೇಕು.
ವೆರಿ ನೈಸ್. ಈಗ just to reconcile this, whatever the question that we have raised. See, what is the purpose of Bhagavad Gita? What is the
ಸರ್, ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಕೊಟ್ಬಿಡ್ತೀನಿ ಸರ್.
ಆಗ್ಲಿ.
ಇದು ಕರೆಂಟ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಆದರೆ ಕರೆಂಟ್ ಏನು ತಾನೇ ಏನು ಮಾಡಲ್ಲ. ಆದರೆ ಅದು ಈ ಮನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಉಪಯೋಗಿಸುವಂಥ ಅಪ್ಲಯನ್ಸಸ್, ಒಂದು ಮಿಕ್ಸಿ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಒಂದು ಫ್ರಿಡ್ಜ್. ಮಿಕ್ಸಿಗೆ ಹೋದಾಗ ಮಿಕ್ಸಿ ಒಂದು ಥರ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ, ಫ್ರಿಡ್ಜ್ಗೆ ಹೋದಾಗ ಫ್ರಿಡ್ಜ್ ಒಂಥರ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ. ಆ ಗುಣಗಳು ಬರೋದು ಅದನ್ನು ಅದರ ಯಾವ ಒಂದು ವಸ್ತು, ಒಂದು ಜಡ ವಸ್ತುವಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಅದು ಬೆಳಗುತ್ತೋ ಆ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಅದು ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ. ಅದು ಏನಾದರೂ ತಣ್ಣಗೆ ಇರುತ್ತಾ, ಅಥವಾ ಕರೆಂಟು ಅಥವಾ ಬಿಸಿಯಾಗಿರುತ್ತಾ? ಇಲ್ಲ. ಆದರೆ ಆ ಒಂದು ಉಪಕರಣಗಳಿಗೆ ಜೋಡಿಸಿದಾಗ ಬಿಸಿ ನೀರು ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ತಣ್ಣಕ್ಕಿರೋ ನೀರು ಬರುತ್ತೆ.
ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್.
ಅದನ್ನ ತಪ್ಪಾಗಿ
ನಮ್ಮ ಮುಖ್ಯ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ ಅದಲ್ಲ. ನಮ್ಮ ಮುಖ್ಯ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ ಇವಾಗ ಆ ಉದಾಹರಣೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಕರೆಂಟ್ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಬೇರೆ, ಆ ಫ್ರಿಡ್ಜ್ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಬೇರೆ.
ಹೌದು. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ತುಂಬಾ ಹತ್ತಿರದ ಉದಾಹರಣೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಸಮುದ್ರದ ಅಲೆಗಳು ತುಂಬಾ ಒಪ್ಪುವಂತಹ ಉದಾಹರಣೆ, ತುಂಬಾ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಕನೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗುವಂತಹದ್ದು. ಪರಬ್ರಹ್ಮ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಸರ್ವವ್ಯಾಪಿ.
ಅದಕ್ಕೇನೆ ಮುಖ್ಯವಾಗಿ ನಾವು ಏನನ್ನ ನಾವು ಈಗ ತೀರ್ಮಾನಕ್ಕೆ ಬರಬೇಕು, ಆ ಗುಳ್ಳೆ ತರ ಕಾಣಿಸ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನೋ ಒಂದಷ್ಟು ಗುಣಗಳು ಇರಬೇಕು, ಆ ಅಲೆ ತರ ಕಾಣಿಸ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನೋ ಒಂದಷ್ಟು ಗುಣಗಳು ಇರಬೇಕು. ಅವುಗಳು ನೀರಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಇಲ್ವಾ? ಹಾಗಾದ್ರೆ ಅವುಗಳು ನೀರಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಇಲ್ದೇನೆ ಅದು ಎಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಬಂದ್ವು? ಅದು ಬೇರೆ.
ಹಾಗೆ ಈ ಪರಬ್ರಹ್ಮನಲ್ಲಿ ಶಕ್ತಿ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಇದೆ. ಆ ಶಕ್ತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ಮಾಯಾಶಕ್ತಿ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ಒಂದು ಗುಣಗಳು ಬರುವಂತಹದ್ದು. ಅದು ಮಿಥ್ಯವಾದಂತಹದ್ದು. ಇವತ್ತು ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ನಾಳೆ ಇರಲ್ಲ. ಅದು ಸದಾಕಾಲವೂ ಬದಲಾಗುವಂತಹದ್ದು. ಅದು ಪರಬ್ರಹ್ಮನಿಂದಲೇ ಬಂದಿರೋದು. ಆದ್ರೂ ಆ, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬದಲಾವಣೆ ಇದೆ, ಪರಬ್ರಹ್ಮನಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವ ಬದಲಾವಣೆನೂ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅನ್ನೋದು ನನಗಿಷ್ಟು ಮಾತ್ರ ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆ. ಅದು ಪರಬ್ರಹ್ಮನ್ ನಾನು ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಳ್ಬೇಕು. ಈ ಮಿಥ್ಯವಾದದ್ದು ನಾನಲ್ಲ, ಇದು ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ.
So ಹಾಗಾಗಿ the question that we first have to ask ourselves is, what is the focus of Bhagavad Gita? What is that Sri Krishna is helping with? Sri Krishna wants you and me to learn Viveka. Viveka means what? Discrimination. Why? So, as a simple example, when I look at a car as a whole object, and if let's say the car has stopped working, if I do not have the Viveka, I do not know what is the next step to take. So, I simply keep on saying my car is not working. If I have not understood what are the parts by which the car has come together and how they function together, if I don't understand that, if I don't know it, then I cannot say, oh, there is something called an ignition, and that in turn is connected to a battery, that in turn is connected to your spark plug. So, like that, if I do not understand the inner workings of a car, if the car stops working, I simply have to sit and worry. Oh, the car is not working. Then I have to get somebody to fix that car. And that person may come and they may exploit my ignorance. My ignorance can cost, maybe all that the problem was that the battery was not charged. And because I do not know anything, that person may do so many things and may take 2 3 hours and may charge me thousands of rupees. So I have to lose thousands of rupees. Why? Because I am ignorant of what? Of how the car functions. Likewise, if I am ignorant of how the mechanism of life is, I go through various losses called as sufferings. The sufferings in life are my losses, isn't it? None of us like suffering. So all of us are looking for a profit called happiness. That is what the movement of life is, very naturally. So why am I suffering? Why am I going through these losses? Because I'm ignorant of what is the mechanism of life. What is car? I've never asked that question. What are the parts that make up the car? I've never tried to understand that. How do they function together? I have never asked these questions. So, first focus, Sri Krishna therefore brings us, he helps us to become aware of the mechanism of life. What is the mechanism of life? What are the parts through which the whole is constructed? Though at the end of the day, in the whole is how you and I have to function. However, the whole has so many little aspects to it. So, if you and I were to think of the work that Sri Krishna is doing through Bhagavad Gita, Sri Krishna is giving you and me a working model of life. Much like you and I, when you and I have to learn about car, you and I may take a look at that toy car, and let's assume the toy car can be opened and somebody can bring out, oh, look, this is called as a steering, this is called as an engine, and they may show some picture where the engine is moving, and they say, oh, look, this is how it is connected to the wheel. So you, part by part, you become aware of what is car and what are all the parts that make up the car and how it is all fitting together to make a whole called as a car. Likewise, here Sri Krishna, first and foremost, to eradicate my own suffering, the first thing that he wants you and me to recognize is, who am I truly? Because that is the most fundamental discrimination. If I do not have that fundamental discrimination, rest everything follows from that fundamental ignorance. So therefore the rest everything turns out to be wrong. So to bring back the clarity about who am I. Now, the who am I can be taught broadly in two ways. There is a God, which is separate from the so called me, and I have to merge with God. This is one way in which most of the teachings happen. This is the Dvaita, where there is a distinction from me. Who is me? Not necessary to examine very deeply. But who is God? The God and God's qualities are highlighted, and this me has to develop those qualities. So it is a transformation technique. Bhakti is a very powerful and a very wonderful way of transforming this fellow into God, the object of the devotion. This is one way the journey can be taken. The other way the journey can be taken is by using the instrument called as Viveka, which is nothing but in my intellect only Viveka. See, it is my intellect that is discriminating right, wrong, good, bad, do, don't do, all this. That discrimination, when it becomes very sharp, based on the right kind of knowledge, that discrimination is going to be able to distinguish subtle aspects. Like how we just a few moments back looked at one example, fire. When somebody looks at fire, they can simply say there is fire. But a firefighter might have lot of other information. Just by looking at the fire, they may gather, oh, this fire, what is the height of the flame? What is the temperature of the flame? What is the color of the flame? Based on that, they may be able to deduce what object on which it is running, and how long it may have been burning. So many things for a firefighter comes. Why? Because they have focused on different aspects. Much like when you have been doing cooking, you become very subtle in distinguishing whether something has less salt or more salt. Somebody who's eating simply doesn't know what makes this a taste. You know how to make the taste, how to fix the taste, how to correct the taste, how to change the taste. Somebody who has been doing, somebody who has been involved with that. Why? Because you know how the six distinct tastes can be mixed in what proportion to make the final dish. So, like that, discrimination, the Viveka is learning how the mechanism of life is. Because the mechanism of life, in its foundational nature, is very subtle aspects. That's the beauty of our great masters, that they have identified them, and those have been given to you and me to reflect on. So, what is the first thing that Sri Krishna is reflecting on here? That by calling an aspect called as God, in this interpretation, God is represented in this way of looking at the meaning. But what is God within you? God within you is what is not changing, what is aware of everything, your own awareness. Your own awareness is the God within you. It is because of the presence of the awareness, anything else that is happening can be seen. In the light of the awareness, the movement of life, and the movement of life is caused by various transformations of energy, isn't it? That is what we have learned in the most fundamental aspect. What is different objects in life? What is this mobile? What is this pouch? What is this glass? What is this bottle? What is this book? What is this computer? Like that, when you keep asking, we give different names. Oh, this is that material. Oh, this is made up of glass and steel. Oh, this is made up of rubber. Oh, this is nothing but steel. Like that, we give different names. But when you and I keep asking, okay, what is steel? What is glass really? Then we go to the next level of answer. Oh, this is nothing but arrangement of some kind of molecules, and we have given different names. Oh, this is made up of carbon, oxygen, hydrogen. No, this is made up of, like that we start explaining. But if you keep asking what are those elements, then we go to the next level of answer. Oh, elements are nothing but arrangement of atoms in some structure called as molecules. Oh, nice. So in a way, when you see this the way these questions were asked, and where we have come from, what appears to be distinct, a glass, a mobile, a bottle, a pouch, a book, a tree, a person's body, what appears to be distinct in a way are coming to, oh, they're nothing but atoms. So you see, there is a kind of a unification happening. When you look at from outside, there's a diversification. As we are going deeper with our questioning, a unification is happening. Then if I further ask, what is an atom? Oh, is hydrogen atom and oxygen atom and carbon atom different? Then the next level of answer uh, would be that, look, atom is nothing but energy in different states of vibration. Oh, atom. At atom level also there is a diversity, but what is fundamentally there is energy. Is energy in different states of vibration. That's one of the answer that we get. So which means that fundamentally I can say the nature or the what we call as the world of objects is nothing but energy in different states of vibration. When I look at the world in that viewpoint, what appears to me is that not the bottle, not the tree, not the varieties, it's all nothing but variations of energy, all nothing but various forms of energy. Oh, energy can exist in the bottle form, in the glass form, in the tree form, in whatever other forms. Fundamentally, now I'm moving towards unification. There is no more. I am able to see the distinction also, but I'm also able to see the underlying unity. Though it appears to be different and distinct from each other, as I go deeper, I can see the interrelatedness. I can see the Shakti. Our ancestors called this energy as Shakti. So now, fundamentally, when I look at life, there is awareness which is noticing the dance of the Shakti. So there is movement of life that you and I call as movements of energy, Shakti. That is why we celebrate Navaratri in the first place. Navaratri means 9 forms of the Devi. Nine, in a way, is a representation of infinite varieties. As you know, the number, 9 ones are 9, 9 twos are 18, 1 plus 8 is 9 itself, 9 threes are 27, 2 plus 7 is 9 itself. Like that, any multiple of 9 is resolving to 9 itself. So infinite varieties can be created through the various movements of Shakti. So like that, there is a fundamental uh, truth during the Navaratri that we have to recognize. So the movement of Shakti. Now, who's saying the movement of Shakti? The awareness. And that in the one of the way of teaching is called as Shiva. Shiva is the awareness. So awareness, Shiva, is seeing the dance of Shakti. Are they two? Are they two separate things? No. That is where Ardhanarishwara. They are one and the same. They are like two sides of the coin. You see heads. Is it only heads? No, it is also tails. So heads and tails is the whole. Awareness and energy. So in this way of understanding, now I've become aware of the mechanism, and I can also now say that awareness is not really causing the movement of energy. Why at any given point of time I became angry? Not because of the presence of the awareness, or neither because of the energy. Neither energy nor the awareness have the movement by themselves. It is a pseudo entity that comes in that movement called as ego. You know who I am. So, who has that sense of ego, sense of a wrong understanding of a ego? And we have discussed this earlier. Ahankara, aham akara. Who has that wrong aham akara? The one who has not yet gotten Atmajnana. So, a one who is not yet aware of the Atmajnana gets used by that ego entity and directs the movement of energy in the presence of the awareness towards I did it. I am doing it, I got angry, I got upset. So all these are captured, are claimed by this pseudo entity called aham. You know who I am. That pseudo entity claims that. So here, Sri Krishna is bringing clarity by calling out, discriminate. You are truly only pure awareness. And of course, he will later go on to teach about the energy aspect. That's how he will connect the two. Because he's now, right now, in the first part of the journey, he first wants us to get established in what is the unchanging nature of me, what is the unchanging nature of you. Then later, he will also show how the so-called changing aspect is also part of the unchanging only, and how to have a life where there is no contradiction. And that is the viewpoint that Shilpaji brought. When I truly realize that movement and stillness, they're present at the same time. Movement is actually, in a way, illusion. Right now, in this very moment, is there any movement happening? Movement means what? In my mind, I have click, snap one, I have click, snap two. And when I compare these snaps, then I get a sense of movement. Otherwise, life is simply one snap to another snap to another snap in terms of observable nature of life. There's simply a stillness actually in every snap. Like I can see in the DP, Shilpaji has put a photo. In that photo, her family is standing near some temple. There's a stillness. There is no movement. And if you closely observe, that is how life is actually. But the attribution that there is a movement is given because you then take this snap and you take another snap and you say, look here, Shilpaji is standing here, husband is standing here, look here, they're standing here. They moved from here to here. So like that, we then see movement happening and we keep on noticing the movement. We keep on noticing the dancer instead of rather dance, instead of not becoming aware that actually even in the movement there is only stillness, only the dancer. And dancer is appearing as both the dance and the dancer. That's the fundamental beauty of life. That's the fundamental wonderment of the life. And that's the fundamental liberation. So to help you and me to summarize, is there a contradiction? No, there is no contradiction. It all depends upon uh, where am I standing and what am I interpreting. So in the initial, when I am not yet established in the Atmajnana, it appears like I'm moving only because of the gunas. And some of us even claim, ಅಯ್ಯೋ ಇದು ನನ್ನ ಗುಣ ರೀ, ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಗಾದೆ ಇದೆ, ಹುಟ್ಟು ಗುಣ ಸುಟ್ಟರೂ ಹೋಗಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ. ಅವ್ನು ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ಸುಳ್ಳು ಹೇಳದೆ, ಹುಟ್ಟು ಗುಣ ಅದು ಸುಟ್ಟರೂ ಹೋಗಲ್ಲ ಅಂದರೆ ಟಿಲ್ ಡೆತ್ ಇಟ್ ವೋಂಟ್ ಗೋ. ಸೊ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಸಚ್ ಸೋಷಿಯಲ್ phrases which makes it feel as if those aspects that appear are permanent, but they're not permanent. Valmiki was a thief, a murderer. And when he met Narada Maharshi, he transformed. So transformation is possible. So the gunas, what are gunas? What are observable external uh, various manifestations based on the three gunas, the tamo, the rajo, and the sattva guna. Those is what you and I call as, oh, very lazy, very angry person, oh, the very lying oriented person. Like that we label, right? Those are nothing but modifiables. They're modifiable because there is a swabhava. What is your swabhava? Sat Chitananda. Love is your swabhava. Because love is not a function of, though our industry has made it, our society has made it as a function of, oh, I love you more than I love the other one. That is a wrong understanding. But love is your very intrinsic nature. Love, because it is intrinsic, you are able to offer it. So like that, recognition of your intrinsic and what is dependent, what is swabhava, what is guna, what is something that is a function of time and space and in the presence of certain things, and what is not time and space dependent. That recognition, to bring that recognition, Sri Krishna is separating and showing you and me. But are they truly separate? No. So, in that, when I reconcile, eventually, when I realize that, then what Shilpaji said, all this is movement of energy only. They are not separate from me. However, during my initial evolution, to see myself as separate from the gunas, I am not, I am not the gunas that seem to be exhibited. I am actually the divine light. And now I have the capacity to modify my gunas. So in that direction, it helps to say it is not, it is separate. Let me stop here. Has this entire discussion brought clarity? Are there any further questions?
For me, it is very, very clear from all the points from Rajita ji, you, and others.
Wonderful, Ji. Anisha ji, has it brought clarity?
Yes.
So, how would you summarize now with whatever you've heard so far?
Mm.
Okay, what is the clarity that you got about the question about is Guna's gift from divine or not? Are you there, Anisha ji? Okay, looks like some internet issue. I'm not able to hear her. Okay. Any other final thoughts? Anybody? Rajita ji, Padmama?
ಏನಿಲ್ಲ ಸರ್, ತುಂಬಾ ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್
Very
ಆಗಿದೆ.
nice, Vijay. Very clear.
Wonderful. Hagadre, then let us end our today's session. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Sarvam Shri Krishnarpanamastu.